Do you know someone who is functional on the outside, but fractured on the inside? Protesting. Is it changing anything? Let's start thinking differently. If protests really worked, there would be visible change. We are still protesting. There has been no change. Actually, things have been getting worse. Why? Because when we are anti something, whatever we are anti has to exist. Healing with the Rev podcast is going to bring you comfort, build community, and give you some inspiration to move forward. Pro peace. For those of you who are old enough to remember who Mother Teresa was, Mother Teresa during the Vietnam War was asked to come to an anti-war rally. She said, I will not be there, but when you have a peace rally, invite me. I will come. She understood the difference between anti whatever and peace. So let's be for peace. And peace does not mean sitting on your butt doing nothing. It's very active. I'm Reverend Teresa Heipel. I am your host of Healing with the Rev podcast. I have lost loved ones to death. I am here to honor your faith tradition, and here you can find peace, calm, and clarity. Peace starts with community building, one person at a time, standing for something rather than against something. When we stand for, we're taking a stance for what we want. Anti-war, anti-ICE, or whatever is going on today as you are listening to this, whatever we are anti really does have to exist. We're giving power over to whatever it is we are wanting to not exist. If we want to abolish something, we need to be pro whatever that is. For this, we want pro peace. We want to be for peace. I don't think anyone would argue with me about that, but they haven't changed their mindset from something negative to something positive. So let's build something positive in this world. Peace building starts with faith. Whatever your faith is, whether it's Christian, Jewish, Islam, or anything else, I say have a faith in a higher power somewhere, because life gets difficult. And when life gets difficult, sometimes we don't know what to do with that. Building with faith, people are coming together. They're learning together. They're expounding their beliefs. They're expounding justice. And aren't we all wanting social justice? Seriously. Drum circles. It's a great way to release pent-up emotions. At my church, we have a drum circle. And when I go there, I can pound on the djembe drums, as you'll see on this picture. There's a lot of djembe drums. It's a great way because you can come up with your own rhythm and you can come up with your own chant in your head. It's pretty awesome. The podcast format, we're going to have real stories. I'm probably going to be talking more than doing interviews. I have a lot of experience in a lot of different things. I'm going to give you some practical tips and some uplifting interviews as we go along. Expressions of heartache, honoring our pain. This woman is feeling the weight of her loss. Whatever that loss is, she is not sure she wants to face reality. Sometimes reality is really difficult because reality is not someplace where we want to be. But we are here and we are now. And if you're listening to this, you're paying attention. So you are present in this moment. She appears to be afraid to see what is in front of her, whether she lost a spouse or a friend or a child or lost a job, gone into retirement, doesn't know what to do with her time. There's so many different kinds of ways of heartache, so many expressions of heartache. And whatever you're feeling, know that you are in great company and everything you feel is all good. And so I would ask you to continue to watch these podcasts because they're going to be informative. Some of them are about loss of some sort. Some of them are about these protests and peace and how we can move forward. Honor yourself by doing what is right for you in the moment. Steady by Design pre-launch episode. Hey, welcome back. I'm really glad you're here today, and I mean that in the most literal way, because today's episode is about something that most people don't talk about enough: grief. Not grief as a concept, not grief as a chapter in a self-help book. Grief as a thing which shows up at 2 in the morning when the house is quiet and you don't know what to do with yourself. Grief as a thing that hits you in the middle of the grocery store when you see their favorite cereal. That kind of grief. Here's what I know from over 20 years of sitting with people in their hardest moments, in hospitals, in churches, in hospice, in living rooms, at gravesides. People are not equipped. They don't have the tools, and the world moves on faster than they do. Someone loses a spouse, a parent, a child, a job they've had for 20 years, a relationship that defined them. And what does the world hand them? A pamphlet. Maybe a referral to a therapist they can't afford or can't get an appointment with for 6 weeks. Most people just sit alone with feelings they can't even name. I've been a hospital chaplain. I've been a pastor. I've held hands at bedsides during final moments. I've officiated more than 30 celebrations of life, and some you can't. And the one thing I kept seeing over and over was this: people needed a tool, a structured, honest human tool that meets them where they are. Not a meditation app that tells them to breathe. Not an anxiety app with a grief filter slapped on top. Something built specifically for this. So I built it. Today I want to tell you about Steady by Design, what it is, how it works, why I believe it is going to change the way people move through grief, and how you can be part of it before it even fully launches. What is Steady by Design? Let me paint you a picture of what Steady by Design actually is and how it works. It's a 4-phase emotional processing framework built specifically for grief, not as an afterthought, as the entire design. Every single feature of this app exists to help you move through the emotional experience of loss, not around it. Here's how a session works. Phase 1 is what I call surface it. You open the app. You're not asked to be okay. You're not asked to smile or breathe deeply or think positive. You are asked one simple question: what are you feeling right now? And the app gives you language for it. Because one of the hardest things about grief is that the feelings are so big and so tangled that you can't even name them. Surface It helps you name what's actually present, without judgment, without a timer, without pressure. Phase 2 is Understand It. Once you've named the feeling, the app helps you understand why grief feels this way in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. Because grief is not just emotional, it is physical, it is spiritual. It sits in your chest, it lives in your shoulders, it wakes you up at 3 in the morning. Understanding why can be the difference between feeling like you're falling apart and knowing that what you're experiencing is human. Phase 3 is Move Through It. And this one matters a lot to me. We are not here to bypass the grief. We are not here to numb it, shortcut it, or pretend it isn't here. This phase gives you guided tools to actually process the emotion, to move through it, not around it, because grief that gets avoided doesn't disappear. It just waits. And phase 4 is Anchor It. Before you close the app and step back into your day, back into your job, your family, your life, we bring you back to something steady, a grounding place, a place of quiet resilience, so you can re-enter the world without feeling like you're holding yourself together with tape. Every session moves through all 4 phases. Surface it, understand it, move through it, anchor it. It is a complete emotional arc from wherever you are when you open the app to a place of steadiness when you close it. And here is something I am particularly proud of. Every emotional state in this app has its own ambient soundscape. Not a playlist, not background noise, music composed and curated specifically to meet you where you are emotionally. Because sound matters. Sound reaches places that words can't, and I know that. Not just as a chaplain, but as a composer with a music industry degree who has spent years understanding the relationship between sound and the human nervous system. No other app does this. Not like this. When we come back from the mid-row, we will talk about who this is for and why it matters now. Let's pause here for just a moment. This is what I call the steady moment. A pause to remember that peace in the world begins with peace inside us. One thing I've learned from working with people over many years is that the world does not become peaceful through more reaction. It becomes peaceful through more steadiness. When your nervous system is regulated, your thinking becomes clearer, your decisions become wiser, and your presence alone begins to influence the people around you. That's the work I do through what I call Steady by design. I help people regulate stress, restore clarity, and return to peace, both in their bodies and in their lives. Because when we become steady inside ourselves, we stop reacting to chaos and begin creating stability in the world around us. And that is where real peace begins. Book your discovery call using this QR code. Now, let's continue. I want to talk for a minute about who this app is for. Because grief is not one thing. It is not one loss. It is not one age group or one circumstance. Steady by Design is for the woman in her 50s who lost her husband and doesn't know who she is without him. It's for the man who got laid off after 20 years and doesn't know how to tell his family. It's for the adult child who just buried a parent and is surprised by how unmoored they feel. It is for the person who lost a pregnancy, a friendship, a version of themselves they thought they'd always be. And it's also for children who have had any type of loss. Grief is not just death. Grief is any significant loss, and it is the most universal human experience there is. Here's what I want you to know about me, and why I believe I was the right person to build this. I have a Master of Divinity degree. I have spent years as a hospital chaplain, a pastor, sitting with families in the most acute moments of crisis you can imagine. I have stood at the front of more than 30 celebrations of life and looked out at rooms full of people trying to hold themselves together. I'm a Reiki Master, a Shamanic practitioner, a published author, a columnist, and a composer. I have held this work in my hands and in my heart for over 20 years. And I built this app because I kept thinking, what happens to these people after I leave the room? What do they do at 2 in the morning when there's no chaplain, no pastor, no counselor available? What do they reach for? Now they can reach for this. We are currently in beta testing, real people using the app, real feedback, real iteration. We are building this the right way, slowly, carefully, and with deep intention. And when we go live, and we will go live, I want the people who believed in this early to already have it in their hands. So here's what I want to ask you today, and I want to ask it directly because I think you deserve directness. Steady by Design is not fully launched yet. We are in beta, and that means right now, before the app is in every app store, before the marketing campaigns, before the press, you have a chance to be part of this from the beginning. There are 2 ways to do that. The first is simple. Follow this podcast. Share this episode. Tell one person in your life who is grieving that something is coming that was built specifically for them. You'd be surprised how far one conversation travels. The second is for those of you who feel called to go deeper. Steady by Design is currently seeking investors, small or large, people who believe in this mission and want to be part of building it. This is not a tech startup pitch. This is an invitation to invest in something that will sit in the hands of grieving people for years to come. If that resonates with you, reach out. The information is in the show notes. And for everyone else, get on the wait list. When this app launches, I want you to be the first to have it. Not because of the hype, but because you or someone you love is going to need it. And I want it to be there when that moment comes. Grief doesn't wait for a convenient time. Neither should the tools to move through it. The link to learn more, join the wait list, and find investor information is in the show notes. I'll also say it again at the end of the episode, but don't wait until the end. Open your phone right now, go to the show notes, put your name on the list. You deserve to be steady, and so does everyone you love. Thank you for being here today. Truly, if this episode moves something in you, share it. Someone in your world needs to hear it. I'll see you next time. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like, follow, and subscribe here. Your follow and subscribe allows me to make better quality content for you. I will bring in guests on occasion. If this message resonates with you, I bring the Steady by Design framework to organizations, communities, and events that want to lead with clarity instead of reaction. I'd love to continue the conversation.